want to give you an idea of how to handle basic trig equations like this, that you're going to get a couple of answers at least. In fact, you'll have an infinite number of answers. Let's talk about that. Secant of x equals 2. That means that 1 over the cosine of x is equal to 2. Flipping these around, that means that the cosine of x is equal to 1/2. Now I go to my unit circle, because if you just go to your calculator and type 0.5, which is 1/2, and then hit cosine inverse, hit that button, it'll give you an answer, but it's too stupid to know that there's another answer as well. You won't know that unless you draw the unit circle. Cosine of x equals 1/2. So I'm going to go halfway out along this line here that takes me eventually to 1, and that's 1/2. And I'm going to draw this to the point T that is going to represent this angle. And by now you probably know that, that angle is pi thirds. Pi thirds is that angle. And so you would write pi thirds is the angle, that's x is equal to pi thirds, and you draw a box around it, except not only is this angle, but the coterminal angle to this, which means we go 2 pi around, that's also an answer. And another 2 pi around, that's an answer. And going the other way, 2 pi, that's an answer. And going that way again, 2 pi. So there's an infinite number of answers to this angle here, and we write this plus 2k pi, and we understand that k is any integer, including 0, in which case it would just be pi thirds. So that's one of our answers. I'll put a box around it. But I have another angle that's also an answer that your calculator is probably not smart enough, been programmed well enough to get the answer. Back to my cosine being 1/2, I can go down as well to this point T. This angle is pi, 3 pi over, this angle is 5 pi over 3. It's 5/3 of the way around the circle. Yeah, it's 5/3 of the way around the circle. 2 pi over 2 pi is 6/3 of the way around the circle. So that's my other answer. X is equal to 5 pi over 3 plus 2k pi, k any integer. That's how we end up with more than one angle for our result, because it's for both of these, the secant is 2, 1 over the cosine. Cosine is 1/2, 1 over 1/2 is 2. It works for this angle, and it works for this angle.